Welcome everyone. We are excited to host you for today's session around how businesses can streamline and transform their time management processes. We are looking at a full house. We'll give it a minute more before we start off the presentation. All right, let's kickstart the session. Today we will talk about how Replicon is leveraging artificial intelligence to transform time tracking into time intelligence. I am Vivek Gopalpuria, Director of Product Marketing at Replicon, and I am joined by my colleague Rajiv Borison, who is our solutions expert. Let's quickly look at the agenda for today. We will quickly look at the current state of time management and the problems associated with it and why a change is needed. We'll then look at some of the existing use cases Replicon solves. But having worked with thousands of customers and with an enterprise experience spanning 20 plus years in the industry, we understand that they can still be transformation. And we will cover how we are utilizing artificial intelligence to take time management to the next level. And this will be followed by a quick demo. We will then delve into benefits for customers using the time intelligence platform and answer any questions that come in. Before we start, let us look at some of the housekeeping items. You will be on mute during the presentation, and there will be a Q&A session at the end. But if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to submit them in the questions box and we'll make sure they are answered. All right then. Why are we here today? It is obvious that artificial intelligence is here to stay. Its adoption and application has been exponentially growing. The number of startups, VC funding, and the confidence being shown by enterprises in artificial intelligence is testimony to the fact. The impact of artificial intelligence technologies on business is projected to increase labor productivity by up to 40% and enable people to make more efficient use of their time. So at Replicon, to enable businesses with this latest advanced technology, we started to look at what capabilities can be derived out of this booming market. Let us talk about a few that we are working on and see tremendous potential in. Our vision is to make time management as non-intrusive as possible and think that artificial intelligence has the potential to transform this important business process into something that can create and deliver great benefits for organizations. Before we jump in, let us look at what the current state of time management within organizations looks like. Well, we call it the time Frankenstein, and this is the reality in most businesses today. Time is fragmented across multiple systems that companies have as part of their ecosystem. Businesses have solutions like HCM, PSA, ERP, payroll, and a bunch of other mostly legacy systems tracking a small portion of their time. The issue is most of these systems are for single use cases, like the professional services automation system helps track project resources, or the human capital management system works well for salaried employees. And they can help with a specific use case, but nothing beyond that. This makes it tedious for businesses to get centralized visibility and control over their enterprise time as a whole. As a result, time goes missing when organizations have these disparate systems for managing enterprise wide time. These are the point of failures that we usually see. Because these traditional point systems for time are not great at collecting time data, they add to the inaccuracy and inconsistencies in the process. They are huge administrative overheads and costs associated with managing time with these systems because a lot of human intervention is made necessary to mold them to specific business processes. And this lack of accurate data and huge administrative overheads means businesses do not have the ability to understand the true value of their time, which is not surprising as most businesses do not know what their employee hours are worth or how many employee hours they actually have. Do organizations know how they are spending the enterprise time at their disposal? We do not believe so. A 500-person business has close to a million hours in a year. If we pause and ask the question, what did we get for these million hours? Most businesses do not have an answer to that question. But if you look at it, time needs to be managed like an asset, just like businesses manage their money and resources. As employee time can cost an organization close to 60% of their operating expenses, directly or indirectly. Not having visibility and control over employee time means businesses lack control over a bulk of their operating expenses, which is not a great case to be in. Replicon wants to help businesses manage their scarcest resource, time, and manage it as an asset with centralized visibility and control. For this, businesses need to connect all their time inputs to outcomes being produced. They should not have to make an effort collecting the time data, but should be able to analyze their time, plan and learn to make changes, and to drive productivity and profitability from the time. We believe businesses need a new way to think about time and need a transformation to manage their time better. They need time intelligence. And this is Replicon's blueprint of the time intelligence platform that will help businesses transform enterprise time into an asset. Our customers utilize our time intelligence platform to harvest time from anywhere and on any device, use our intelligent processing to validate, understand, and make time predictions, and also to share the intelligence with their evolving ecosystem. We have pre-built time intelligence products and enterprise solutions that help businesses with every use case there is around time within an enterprise. Here are a few of our products. With our time and attendance product, businesses manage time and labor for their dispersed workforce in real time, apply relevant pay rules, and streamline the pre-payroll process. Client billing can help professional services organizations track up to the minute project time, capture all billable hours, and efficiently manage resources, projects, clients, and billing. Customers also use us to account for all projects, project status, resources to manage delivery and project costing. And we also help businesses to simplify their time off and expenses management. On the enterprise solution side of things, with enterprise time management, Replicon Time Intelligence can help businesses modernize their existing legacy ERP implementations with its purpose-built enterprise-grade time management system to help accelerate the ROI. With global time and gross pay automation, the platform helps global multi-location organizations streamline their enterprise-wide gross pay operations with a unified platform for time and labor, payrolls, global compliance, and gross pay management at scale. Business operations software for professional services helps services businesses optimize their end-to-end workflow and tie planning, service execution with financial performance to maximize profitability. And businesses can use our web services API to connect to their ecosystem to pass on this knowledge. Our customers also use us for more than 33 different use cases, and here are a few. IT services, professional services, consulting businesses use us for project billing and resource management. Various sectors across the industry use us to manage employee attendance and labor compliance. We help nonprofits, education institutes with managing grants to justify the spending. We help shared service departments within big financial, insurance, manufacturing, and education sector businesses with accurately managing shared services chargebacks. Many R&D, engineering, and manufacturing firms use us to account for R&D tax credits. Oil and gas, manufacturing, utilities, and construction firms use us for labor cost capitalization, and so many more industries use us in so many different ways. Our platform is built for rapid adoption and supports time management from anywhere, anytime. We help businesses track bulk hours. If there is a need to enter in-out times or clock in and clock out to activities, we support that. We already support complex client project structures and have modern time clock and mobile options with configurable approval workflows to help businesses. We are truly global in every sense of the word. The platform is built to handle complex, multi-location, diverse employee types with a global library for compliance and customers spread across 70 plus countries. We support global governance where you can set policies at the global level, but also allow local control for your businesses to customize it to local needs. Our platform is built for the new era and streamlines time management with the use of advanced technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and Internet of Things. And that is where we'll focus our showcase today. And we believe this is the future. Consumer apps are already adapting a lot of these advanced technologies, and we believe enterprises can make the most of it too. Let us see how artificial intelligence can cause business transformation. As per studies, error rates for image identification have fallen from close to 30% to below 2.5 in the last few years and have overtaken human performance. So if you have been paying close attention to your Facebook feed, you would have seen their disclaimer about their ability to recognize your images better and how they are incorporating this technology into their platform. In fact, yesterday night I was looking at an ad from Facebook where they were talking about their facial recognition capabilities and how they would be using this technology to help visually impaired users to get the most out of their images, which is really great. Replicon has incorporated these advanced capabilities into time clocks and mobile devices to make access seamless and increase accuracy. Our facial recognition capabilities make our modern time clock truly intelligent. Employees need not remember any user ID or carry a QR code. They can just walk in and get authenticated based on their face. It makes the whole process automated, quick, and seamless. It makes the punches secure and eliminates body punching and time theft right at the clock. Also, there are no added hardware costs. So if you have an iPad, our app can be downloaded and you are ready to go. We also utilize these advanced authentication methods for our mobile and have enabled Touch ID and Face ID on our mobile app. These advanced features will help data accuracy and make the entire time tracking process a breeze, increasing overall productivity. I'm really excited about the whole intuitive chatbots and their potential use cases within their enterprise. From Siri to Alexa to how Starbucks is utilizing them, they are everywhere. How many of you have used them to check out the weather or to dim your living room lights or to play your favorite tune? We are now boasting of our own intelligent AI-powered chatbot. It is your personal assistant and you can strike a conversation with it around time. It is like talking to a colleague. It makes the whole process interactive and takes away the pain associated with it. Businesses are bound to see increases in adoption and data accuracy and consistency. Using our intuitive chatbots, you can empower your employees by turning a mundane task into an interaction. Another enhancement for the supervisory staff and managers is around reducing administrative overheads related to workflows. Most of us have heard about Nest and how these smart thermostats make real-time adjustments based on a number of conditions to increase power efficiencies. Google's proprietary maps are said to become more accurate and efficient owing to the deep learning technology which is being integrated into the app. I personally use Google Traffic to decide on the route I should take back home. In the past, I needed to pull it up and check it right before a junction as to which route will be less traffic prone. But Google has been learning from this and started throwing a notification at me just a little bit before the junction, reducing the overhead for me to having to pull out the app and check the route. Similarly, Replicon has been investing in making the whole approvals and business workflows work in a way to increase efficiencies. Our advanced business process workflows can be tailored to any business requirement you may have. The approval routing can be decided in real time based on data validations and exceptions. This reduces the overhead on approvers to manage the routing and helps them make informed decisions with relevant information at their fingertips. For example, if you want approvers to just get exception timesheets, whatever those exceptions may be, you can set your workflow to that. Or if you want to manage overtime and have a specific routing based on the overtime hours and thresholds that you set, or you have different time off types that you want to be approved by different people, you can create your own routing and workflows, and the system learns and reacts in real time. This advanced configurability will help businesses optimize their review process and keep the overall overheads low. Now, the part of the webinar that all of you have been waiting for, I will hand it over to Rajiv for a quick demo. Rajiv, over to you.
Thanks, Vivek. So I'm just going to share out my screen here. And Vivek, would you be able to let me know, are you able to see the timesheet conditional approval routing rules open okay on your side?
Yes, I am able to see that, Rajiv.
Okay, great. Thanks, Vivek. So just to give the team some background, what I'll be presenting today is the Replicon bot, along with the facial ID recognition that Vivek was describing. And we'd also like to spend a few minutes discussing how we can provide intelligent routing on the approvals front. So what I've actually just shared out right now is the actual Replicon bot on my iPhone. It's actually my mobile app. And the reason this bot is very helpful and would benefit a number of organizations is the fact that just like there's personal assistants like Vivek was describing earlier, we can start taking advantage of this to be able to capture time quickly and efficiently. So what's very unique about this is that not only can I interact with the bot off of the mobile app, but I still have all of the other Replicon functionality that I'm very much traditionally used to. The ability for me to submit my own timesheets, leave requests, manage my team's approvals and routings, and even submit expenses within the actual app as well. But as we're actually working on different variations of this bot, we're actually going to incorporate some additional learning within the actual bot. And what's very helpful about that is that we can start having the bot understand patterns. Based on several timesheets that I have submitted over the past, the bot will start recognizing different things that I'll be able to do and make suggestions based on some of that historical entry. So what I'm going to do now is actually type in something like hello to the bot, which will actually give me an overview of the different commands that I can actually run. And I can always use text to speech. There's a number of different mobile platforms that have this. So what I'm going to do is indicate enter hours for today. Let's make sure it's entered correctly here. Let's say enter hours for today. And now what you'll notice is the bot will actually understand that I have some previous time entries for prior days, and it's actually going to make some suggestions. So it's going to state that because I have some previous time entries on a previous project that I was working on, in this case, the next-gen ERP deployment project, it's actually going to suggest, would you like to continue entering hours for that project for this week? So I'm going to go ahead and indicate yes. Yes. And now what the bot will do is actually enter that time for me, and it's actually going to ensure that the appropriate projects have been selected as well. Very unique in that it eliminates a lot of the manual repetition of having to enter information manually. I can just have the bot do it for me as well. Something else to remember, of course, is Replicon also has intelligent population of your timesheets. That's already available today. So we want to make the whole time capture process as easy as possible. If you do have users that are working on similar things throughout the week or month or long-term engagements, we can take that into account as well. So now the bot's going to ask me, would I like to be able to review my timesheet after it's entered my hours? Yes. And now what it's going to do is actually go directly into my timesheet, and it'll actually tell me all of the time that it has entered for me. So you'll notice that here's a list of all of the time, and of course, I can go ahead and enter anything else that I'm traditionally used to, for example, some commentary. So I'm going to indicate that I was working on new client deployment on this particular engagement. I'm going to go ahead and save that now. So I can actually leverage the bot to not only enter time for me, but also manage my team's approvals as well. In this case, because there's nothing pending approval, we're actually in pretty good shape. But if there were some items that were outstanding, the bot will be able to approve it on my behalf. So having an intelligent assistant like this is certainly going to help streamline the time capture process and make it much easier from an end user submission perspective. So what I'm actually going to do next is I'd like to also review the facial recognition capabilities that Vivek was also describing on our Cloud Clock platform. What's very unique about this, of course, is that it's really going to eliminate users having to interact with any form of device through traditional methods. For example, proximity sensors, biometrics. We want to make this process as seamless as possible as well. So I'm actually just going to fire up my iPad here and fire up the Cloud Clock app that we have. And now what everybody will notice is that it can actually just recognize my face. I don't even have to interact with the clock. It detects my face, it does facial recognition, and then it gives me different options as to what I can do on the actual clock. What's helpful about this, of course, is that I can indicate different types of things that I'd like to be able to do. For example, punching in, perhaps I'd like to resume my work or go ahead and take a break. And just like our time capture platform already does today, we can actually take a photo of that employee and send it off to the supervisor. But as everyone will be able to see, I don't have to do anything with the clock. The clock can actually recognize me just by my face. And it's very unique in that it actually learns the faces of your staff. And this eliminates the need of users having to interact with clocks using any of the traditional methods that we're used to today. What we very commonly hear is that in construction, as an example, or in other manufacturing environments where punch clocks are normally utilized, when users are trying to interact with the clocks, there's different issues that they run into. For example, biometrics, they actually have fingerprints that might be dirty after a day of construction or mining, and it's not able to read them properly. Users tend to forget their QR codes or proximity badges. So what's very unique about the facial recognition capabilities on the Cloud Clock platform is that it really eliminates any employees having to interact with clocks in any capacity. They simply walk up to the actual tablets. The tablets understand and learn who the employees are. We can leverage this facial recognition technology so that users don't have to interact with clocks using any of the traditional methods. So certainly another very easy way to streamline time capture. And as everyone was able to also see, it was very, very quick for me to be able to capture into the system. It recognized me within seconds. Now, just the other thing I wanted to also show that everybody on the webinar today is what's called the Replicon Intelligent Approval Routing. So what's very unique about this is that Many times we hear that approvers are inundated with a number of different requests in the system, whether they're timesheets, time off requests, expenses as an example. But we want to make sure that when approvals need to occur, that it's on important items that actually require attention. So in this particular case, we have a couple of different rules around timesheets, leave requests, and expenses. These are some very common ones that we frequently hear about. So for example, if there's no exceptions or overtime that's incurred on the timesheet, then perhaps it's going to automatically be approved. Whereas if there is any exception time, then perhaps the supervisor then needs to be involved. The other component to this as well is also escalating approvals. So very commonly we hear that perhaps a manager is going to be away, they're unavailable, and as a result, there's actually outstanding approvals that need to take place in the system. Not only does Replicon support a proxy or a substitute user today to be able to accommodate a different manager to be able to manage their team's approval in that event, but what we can also support is an escalation. And what that basically means is that perhaps it goes off to that manager's manager. So this could be like a director or a VP within the organization. Or we can also apply any other logic here. So perhaps if there's a considerable amount of time on the timesheet, considerable exceptions or overtime, perhaps we'd like to have to go through a different approval route as well. One of our customers within the construction space actually had indicated huge benefits to leveraging this intelligent routing because they actually have a number of different projects that are underway. They have small scale projects with simple approval routing, but then they also have some large scale engagements that require some more complex routing. The larger projects actually involve a number of different individuals, such as project accountants, assistants, job site assistants, actual project managers, and direct supervisors as well. There was a number of different individuals involved, but the fact that Replicon can accommodate unique routing workflows, they without hesitation, implemented this within their environment. So a number of our customers have benefited from this. Feel free to reach out to us and we can help your organization do the same. When it comes to time off intelligent routing, very similar logic as well. We have a very simple example that actually indicates that perhaps if the leave request actually exceeds a certain time interval, then perhaps we'd like to have it go through a different type of approval routing. What we already support today, of course, is the ability to do different approval routing based on leave type. So what that means is that perhaps vacation time needs to go through approval routing, but sick time automatically gets approved. We already can configure that today, but where this intelligent routing comes into play is that perhaps the sick time, if it's 3 days as an example, then it'll be automatically approved. But if it's anything that's 5 days or higher, perhaps it'll actually go through a different approval routing and flag to the approvers, hey, this requires some sort of doctor's note, or this requires some sort of attention. And you can actually indicate exactly what individuals you'd like to have involved on the leave or the absence management approval routing as well. And when we're talking about expenses in our system, we actually, of course, support the traditional methods such as supervisor, project manager, or any other of the variations, if you will. Ultimately, you can actually indicate whether or not this is going to be concurrent or incrementally completed. But what we very commonly hear with expenses, of course, is that if there are expenses incurred that are over a specific amount, perhaps an expense that has exceeded the per diem or your company travel policy, then perhaps it requires special approval routing to, let's say, once again, the director or VP. These are also things that we can take into account as well. So very practical use cases across all of these intelligent approval routing on timesheets, leave requests, and expenses. So thank you, everybody. That concluded what I wanted to show today. I'll actually pass it back to Vivek.
Thank you, Rajiv, for that wonderful demo. I just wanted to make sure that you are able to see my screen.
I can. Thank you, Vivek.
Thanks, Rajiv. I would like to remind the participants that we will have a Q&A session at the end, and they can go ahead and submit their questions at any time. We have a few questions already lined up. We'll try to get to as many as possible. As I mentioned before, Replicon's vision is to make time management as non-intrusive as possible, and we believe that the best way to manage time as an asset is to create an environment where employees need not track time at all. Imagine a day when the artificial intelligence enabled platform pings an employee with his or her timesheet and on their consent checks for exceptions to approve it and knows which compliance rules or billing rates need to be applied, presenting the payroll and finance teams with what the payroll runs or invoices would look like. We believe that day is not far and we have started on that journey. Replicon will enable organizations to manage their people's time and get centralized visibility and control, making the most out of the million hours that they have at their disposal. Many organizations are already utilizing our advanced capabilities to gain control of their enterprise time and in the process achieving competitive advantage. Here is a sample list of some of our customers. You'll see we have customers across industry segments across the globe, which talks to the configurability of our platform. Our customers reap benefits across the enterprise utilizing this advanced platform. Customers report increase in employee productivity, tremendous increases in time data accuracy and administrative efficiencies, while huge reductions in labor costs and revenue leakages help them. For every time management use case within an enterprise, more than 8,000 businesses are leveraging Replicon today. Let us quickly look at a couple of our customer use cases. We'll first talk about ITV Studios, which is a big media giant. Prior to Replicon, they were using manual processes to manage their employee rostering and pay. And the situation was that the whole manual processes made it tedious and time consuming and caused a lot of errors in their schedules and in their pay. And the whole manual process could not keep up with their perpetually shifting schedules and team structures and could not update employees in real time. The problem that they were running into was lack of visibility into employee schedules, and this led to suboptimal staffing. And there was cases of overtime and people not showing up to shifts on time. And just to manage this whole piece, there were huge administrative overheads, and basically they were not able to keep up with any of their dynamic needs. So ITV Studios turned to Replicon for a cost-efficient and agile platform to accommodate the diversity in their employee types and their scheduling patterns and leave management, and to automate their formerly manual processes around collating all this information, making it real time and giving them huge control over their employee schedules and helping them gain administrative efficiencies. They in fact were able to reduce their overall payroll processing effort and time by 66%, and that was a big deal for that organization. Another customer that we look at is Blackboard, which is again a global customer. They are a technology vendor, and they were initially using an on-premise system that was not keeping up with the rate at which they were growing and the number of projects that they were taking up. And literally their growth was at risk because of the inaccuracies in data and the whole cumbersome process. And also they did not have insights into project forecasting or future project investments. With Replicon, they were able to get on top of their project costing and accurately attribute all the R&D project hours to get R&D tax credits and reduce liability risk. And they're also able to shift time away from operational tasks and use that time for strategic decisions and improving resource management and forecasting.